Where's that? Over here. That's my. Hey, this is the Two Hippies, One Drunk on the Road edition. We're coming to you live from Williamsburg, Virginia. And on this week, we'll be covering the time we spent in Charleston, South Carolina, as well as the Outer Banks of North Carolina. And so here we are, guys. Like I said, from Williamsburg. We hadn't done the On the Road one last week due to Tyler kind of going away. So we have a lot. We're kind of going back a little bit here in our memory. But it was Charleston, South Carolina, where we were at a few weeks ago, and we ended up getting to spend a really cool 5 days there, right downtown. So, do you guys remember that we were in Charleston?
Yeah, I do remember that we were in Charleston. Were we there for 6, technically, because the Sunday, right?
Oh, yeah, technically. Yeah, technically 6 days.
And I will say, when you ask if I remember Charleston, I did accidentally write Charlotte originally in the description.
There's too many Charles things, names.
No, seriously. Like we've had this month, we had in our schedule Charleston, Charlotte, and Charlottesville, and it's managed. I've never once picked the right city when I'm talking about it.
Charleston, Charlotte. We have, Charlotte. In the calendar, I guess. I'm like, we haven't been to those places all.
Nope.
But anyway, nonetheless, here. So
Charleston.
we started driving up to Charleston. I don't remember where from, to be honest with you, because it's been a while.
Daytona, I believe, right?
Oh, good point. Yes. From Daytona.
Okay.
and we had a little experience in the that Marriott place in Hilton Head,
and was pretty gross,
which was pretty crazy. And then we got up to Charleston, and when we first got to Charleston, we actually stayed a night outside of the town because our Blue Green was our timeshare that Mr. Kennedy hooks us up with was Monday through Thursday, which luckily ended up being Monday through Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. And so we went and saw that fort. I don't remember the fort's name, but I will say,
it was cool. I got to play some
guitar.
Like it started
in there.
With an H. That was really awesome. I really liked that. They had like that was the underground bunker.
Correct.
That the acoustics were insane. So I started playing music in there. There's a video on our page. Check it out.
No, and I really like, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again with any of this stuff. I want to be able to touch it. I want to be able to go inside of it. I want to be able to. And this place was really cool because you got to walk like inside of the bunkers. You got to go inside of the rooms.
Sometimes past that line, he wants to touch things and make sure that, like, even if it's not like it says no touching, he's like, well, no one's around.
Well, why did you put it within arm's length with only a rope to guard it?
That's all you need for most society to go, no, this isn't for me to touch. But you did get to touch everything there pretty much. It was we could walk around in the whole fort, honestly, by ourselves, which was really cool. We didn't have to take a tour or anything. And it was right on the ocean, too. It was cool.
Yeah.
I was trying to look it up, and I don't remember exactly where it was. I kind of remember where it was. But anyway, it was over in the Mount Pleasant area of Charleston.
It was near Fort Sumter.
There you go. Close enough. And so, and then we had a really good. We were going to start talking about our comedy more in the probably Road Life edition at times here and there, but we had some really good shows in Charleston Monday and Tuesday night in Charleston. So I feel like this time we sometimes gloss over those, but that is a lot of the main point of some of this trip, through the podcasting and the comedy and stuff. Yeah. And so we had some really good shows Monday and Tuesday in Charleston.
Yeah, we met someone at the first show and asked them where some other shows were, and she actually had a show the next day. So we went to her show, and both of them, like, we all did great and met a lot of people there, got a lot of contacts and new followers on our page, which is cool.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to think if there's anything else I would say about those. I mean, we could talk about the
there was a man who said the N-word twice,
right,
in the crowd. That was it was funny to me because like I actually had a song about that. It references that not being okay, and also about dogs. And this place had like 4 or 5 dogs in it for some fucking reason.
Oh, and actually, Tyler, you would not be aware of this because when Eric and I went and did comedy in Myrtle Beach, we ran into somebody from those shows,
really?
from the Tuesday show, and he told me that remember because we saw when we went back for an open mic Wednesday, he was there again. The girl who ran the Tuesday show canceled it and isn't doing it anymore and moved to another bar
Because of him?
because the bar owner was
He's
friends
friends
with the
with him.
guy and refused to like do anything about him using like racial slurs.
Well, we shut that place down, you know?
So we were we were in the final show of the little what was it, like the little
something mini bar.
Yeah, I mean, so that means I was the last performer.
You were the last.
Wow!
I go down in lore
Comedy
as in North
I
Carolina.
need a picture of you.
The
up on
final
wall
performer at the Elliottboro mini bar.
There we go. I mean, was that funny? I should sell that as something I've done on my resume. It was an interesting evening of comedy that lasted quite a bit, normally I don't I wouldn't brag or tout the things we're doing, even though we've all gotten really a lot better at comedy, and we do think that's going good. And we started sharing some of those videos. But it was a 2.5 hour night of comedy, and we all were in the half hour.
No, we were the last 4.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we were in the last half hour. Like, after 2 hours, 3 of the last 4 of the people were us. And we did really good, and it was fun. And unfortunately, like a lot of times in life, good moments come with bad moments. And then, like, the next day, we're all in this high, and then Tyler kind of found out he might have had to leave us for a few.
Yeah.
And we didn't know an indeterminate amount of time, by the way. It's all worked out better now.
Yeah, no,
but it was
definitely. So the next day, me and Scott went out to an open mic that was like a music open mic / like spoken word, that kind of thing. Although there was no one else that did. There was a rapper, which is probably good for you just to have somebody else do that.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah, and not to even. I had a very enjoyable night. It went well.
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't gone right after the rapper.
Yeah.
Like let's have a little bit of diversity.
I mean,
you know,
to be fair, yours wasn't really a rap. Yours really was like its own
spoken
thing.
word.
Yeah, spoken word, and it felt like its own thing, kind of, when I was watching it.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah. My concern going into it, and I feel like actually it's funny. I ended up kind of addressing it right away, and I feel like the addressing it like helped and it kept people's attention. My problem is you go to a musical open mic, it's different than comedy where people aren't. They're having conversations. There's people providing atmosphere kind of by playing music in a lot of ways. And the thing with rap or with spoken word is it's kind of more so it demands your direct attention.
And then right before my set, my mom texted me and said my dad was going to the hospital. So I was like, I did my set and I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I just kind of want to get out of here. And Eric,
sorry. I'm just going to fill in. So he gets that text. I meant to have a calm night by myself. On this trip, we've all come to realize that once in a while we need a night where we just like, hey, if the other few people are doing things, you stay in. And I was planning on that. I was planning on having a calm evening, but I went up to this rooftop bar and met a stranger who bought me a few beers. Then I started having a few more beers watching wrestling. And unbeknownst to me about this situation with Tyler, I kind of go like, they might not want to be up for it, but I'm going to throw a text. Like I search for karaoke bars, and I'm like, you guys want to do karaoke tonight? And Tyler was literally like, yes,
please.
And I didn't know what was going on yet. But he's like, yes.
Absolutely. Like, it seemed like such a good distraction from like all that shit because I just needed. I didn't even know what was going on at that point. All I knew was my dad was in the hospital. So
right.
I just kind of wanted to not think about that.
And it was, like I said, it was just a weird thing where we'd had such good nights in comedy, and that day. Leading into you guys going to that thing that night, me and Tyler had a really good talk on this. Really, even though it kind of stunk that we had to, you had to pay, but I mean, free. We had a great hookup, but you still have to go to this parking garage across the street. But it had a beautiful view of the city, and you.
Doing other stuff for our show, like all this, like
we're gonna move stemmed from the comedy going so well on Monday and Tuesday, and also a talk with a friend that we'll get into about this Dr. Fiorini that we'll get into in a second. But it's just weird how life works like that, though, because we had that, and then like you said, you get this text here at this show. And then I'm kind of like, hey, a little buzz, like, hey, you want to do some karaoke tonight? And it in some ways it worked out. And that in the sense of probably was a good timing, but also like a weird thing for all of us and you for what we're doing here. Like, what do you do? I mean, looking at it now, like, do you have any thoughts back on like how that all went down or not really?
How what went down?
Just
like,
how you feel about it now? Like how, like, I mean,
I'm glad I went out.
To see your parents and stuff like that, right?
Oh, you're talking about like going back to see my parents?
No, we can talk about that later. Yeah, I was going out is what I meant. Yeah.
No, I think I made the right call. I think I made the right call because there was nothing I could do. I was stuck here or there in Charleston, and like instead of sulk and just think about it all night, which honestly would do nothing, I went out and hung out with you guys, and it was a blast.
Well,
I had a
go ahead.
great time.
And there was, to be clear, kind of just to put this into context, there was definitely a moment. This trip was never going to end, but there was definitely a moment where we thought it might take a month or a month and a half long pause because, you know, we've done all of this together at this point. Honestly, we all rely on each other for so much. This has been a huge undertaking for 3 people. And, you know, we didn't know, you know, how your dad's health was going to be. We didn't know if it was going to get worse. There was a chance that he might die. Like that was a real possibility.
Like on the table. It's the reason I went home too, because that was something creeping in that might be an actual possibility.
And so it was this weird, like we didn't know exactly what the future was going to look like.
And when we almost talk about it, me and Scott going down to that wrestling thing and me saying whether it was a good decision or a bad decision, I would say at the time we kind of, honestly, things looked kind of bad to me. I thought there was a good chance we were going to be coming home for a month. So I thought at the time, I thought, what's the big, you know, in a way, might as well do this thing.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, I think out of it that we got is that when we left on this trip, we've never talked about it too much, but these guys were, I planned this trip at one point, possibly to do it by myself.
Yeah.
I asked these guys later, they kind of they agreed, but they didn't really know how long they would necessarily do it. There was a goal of do it as long as we can. But like, as the trip has moved on, as Scott said,
3 months is what we
Right.
thought.
Like, hey, we can, for sure, we'll say we'll do 3 months. We'll kind of like, I don't even think it was a kind of go from there. I mean, not at the beginning.
It was
anyway.
kind of like, no, we'll be there for 3 months and it's kind of done. But
right. And so,
and
as Scott said, it's really become much more like, I can't have fathomed doing this by myself like I had planned. I suppose I would keep doing it. I'm a pretty push through guy, but it would be a lot harder. So point is, when he had that situation, like Scott said, we really were at the point where we're like, I was starting to map out like, okay, well, if we started in May, where do we go? So it was a wild week because the first 2 days were so great. The rest of these weren't like bad in that sense. I mean, well, we all spent Thursday. We didn't leave the fucking apartment. But let me get back to
we got wasted Wednesday night.
I got
we got real
white girl wasted.
Yeah,
real drunk.
Real to the point where we were like leaving the bar at some point. We go to a janky gas station that probably was past 2 a.m., I believe, selling me beers that I didn't need to have. Did not need them.
It definitely was past 2 a.m.
Okay, yeah. Yep. Didn't need them. Didn't need those beers, but I felt like I did at the time.
And gave one to a homeless man.
I gave one to a homeless man because I'm a charitable guy. And people know I have a track record with the homeless, so that just continued in Charleston.
Keep your network going.
Right, I'm keeping it going, Ryan, if you're listening. But
can we? I don't know if we've ever kind of talked about this. I don't think we've ever talked about this on any of our podcasts. I really do. I have strong feelings about the way, if you're a homeless person, man, it's got to be a difficult life. It's got to be hard. The way you approach people can make a massive difference. Yeah. I am so much more willing to whenever somebody's like, hey man, I got a car around the corner and I need gas and whatever. It's like, oh, okay, dude. Like, I'm not giving you any money. I don't like that you're lying to me. This all feels shady. I like that guy was just literally, he was like, hey, is there any way, like, I'm trying to buy some cigarettes. Do you have a little bit of money?
Right.
And I'm like so much more willing in that sort of
situation. He didn't even ask for the beer. By the way, I just kind of said, do you want a beer? And he really was just like, I guess. I mean, if you're going to give it to me.
I had to do because Eric was fucking wasted, like very drunk. And then we walk away a little bit, and he's like, damn it, I shouldn't have gave that guy that beer. I think I'm going to go back. And I was like, no, don't. And he's like, okay. And we just kept walking. I'm glad you didn't buy that.
I know.
Yeah, I was going to say, to be clear, not to then take the beer from the homeless man, but to go buy a new one.
No, I wasn't going to do a little takey-backies or something.
Give me that beer.
Change my mind.
Change my mind. Hey, you didn't even really want it anyway. Yeah. So I'm doing you a favor, actually. No, I was going to dumb. Thank God. It was one of these rare moments. I was rather drunk, but just not, I guess, over the line that where Tyler said, no, you shouldn't go back. And you're like, yeah, you're right. I just kept walking. But so, and another thing, by the way, that happened, and we kind of talked about this in general, like, was that night was, we met, like, I guess you would call it doppelganger, or if you could call a younger version of me.
Yeah, he was definitely there with his little, according to Scott, better looking friend, because Scott, checking this dude out.
Wow. That has two things. One, Scott checking him out. Two, he's saying he's better. That guy's better looking than me.
No, I was saying young Eric's friend was
Doppelganger.
better looking.
Yes,
I was saying,
that's what
I was saying young Eric.
Yeah.
Eric's
Yes.
Eric's young doppelganger.
Had a
He was
friend.
with his friend, and I felt bad. I'm like, this kid's a nerd, and his friend is noticeably better looking than him, and they're just going out, and that sucks.
So was I the better looking one? You said.
No.
No, you weren't in the discussion. That
Yeah,
was
but
the
you're
thing.
talking about younger me.
Yeah, so
Younger
it
me.
would've
No,
been
younger you
If
was the
younger
worst
you
looking guy.
hanging out with this kid, the kid's better looking
Yeah,
than you.
that's-
this is a good looking kid.
He was a good looking kid.
I'll give him that.
I go back to my 2 points. One, like Tyler said, Scott was apparently checking out this dude, and two, apparently he had no problem saying that he's better. This stranger that he doesn't know is better looking than me.
Oh, yeah.
And we agreed with a younger version of me.
Eric is somehow, found a way to take personal offense at me telling this like completely other kid.
This is a troubling development to me that I didn't know about.
I'm gonna straight up say that Eric now, present Eric, is better looking than that kid.
Oh no,
know.
that's
gonna
fair.
say that.
That's
Oh,
fair.
Scott,
Yes,
that's
Tyler,
fair.
I believe Tyler. I don't believe Scott. Anyway,
Since when do I back down because you give me shit, Eric?
know,
when does
I
that
know.
ever happen?
I
One
know,
time.
I gotcha. I'm trying to think. I almost was trying to. I already kind of talked about it with Amy, but I did also have this situation with this drunk chick,
Lady. Yep.
drunk lady,
Not
if
a
you
lady
will.
of the night,
No,
but
no.
she was there that night.
Yeah, and a lady.
And
And
so
a lady.
I'm a weirdo where I don't know what to do with things, and I ended up buying this girl a drink, and we kissed a little. Like, I made out a little bit in the bar, and then I didn't know what to do with it afterwards. It never went anywhere, and I don't
There's a
remember.
very clear thing, which we've discussed with you. You whisper in her ear, "I have a penthouse.
I know.
Less than a mile away. Would you like to go there?"
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay, you see, I will be in between you guys on this, and that I believe you're right. That's the move. That's what he should have done.
Yes.
At the same time, I don't necessarily believe it would have worked out. Eric has described, I know he did on, I believe on his on the podcast with Amy.
Yeah.
Would have been like herding cats, and he's not wrong.
It
like,
would have been like herding cats, but you can herd a cat. They're not that, they're not that strong and very easily
whoa.
corralled.
Not that strong. Yeah, just
If you're
push her to
herding
the
up-
cab.
Yeah, exactly. If she
Yeah.
needs a direction, because that girl would have gone. My thing is that it wouldn't have been a thing where she's like, I kind of want to stay here or something. I feel like she would have been like,
Yeah.
okay, all right. But you would have had to make her not stumble her way to that cab.
And actually, this is not even me. You're right. Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. This is
which
not
I
me.
want to be clear too, because when you talk about a girl stumbling, whatever, she was wasted. Eric was also wasted.
Yeah.
They were both wasted.
This was a Wednesday
And-
night at a karaoke
Yeah.
bar.
we were
We're
all
how-
very drunk.
This is how people meet. At least people like me,
Yep.
because I don't have what do you call natural skills in sobriety, and so this is how I meet people, being very drunk. But she was very drunk as well,
Yes.
and so that's why it's okay. But we glossed over,
Mutually drunk people.
right? two
and
mutually
she
drunk-
came up to you.
And dude, she came up to me and
Yes.
said, you know, that
Hey,
was
you're cute.
whatever.
Yeah. Are you single? Is what she said.
Exactly. I did
You
gloss
look
over.
better than that kid over there for sure.
Yeah, that kid over there he's a problem.
I glossed over this, but this was actually a really cool deal. I have this buddy named Ryan. Sorry, that's your pen.
Oh
So
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. We did go.
Sorry, I
What,
fiddle
what
with
day
things.
was Ryan? Tuesday.
That was on Tuesday, so I purposely didn't get to him yet because I wanted to do our comedy first. But my friend Dr. Fiorini from Charleston, South Carolina, really cool dude, and happens to be a plane owner, and he took us out flying over
a
Charleston.
co-owner. Doesn't he own it with somebody?
Oh, he
else
does
too?
co-own it with a professional basketball player, Rick Carlisle. No big deal.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of our
We're a
listeners care.
podcast and,
Right.
So we
Become our sponsor.
so we flew on a professional basketball player's private plane, is what you're saying.
Coach's private plane.
Coaches.
Ooh,
But still,
even better.
right, exactly.
He's the head of it.
Right, exactly.
Right.
I'm going to let you guys say, like what did you think about? How did you think about this experience?
I would say it was one of the cool. It was one of the only experiences on this trip where it felt like we were kind of famous. Something like we
Yeah.
were important.
Yeah, no, it
Very
was.
much so.
And it was incredible. It was awesome. Eric actually got an opportunity to fly the plane.
He did do it.
I know, which is beyond crazy. So I will say, Ryan said that this plane is a very safe plane. I mean, like, it's one of the safest, apparently, like private
is,
planes
yeah.
that you can basically buy. Literally to the point where even if the pilot, got in a situation where he got knocked out and couldn't handle the plane, we could pull a latch, and I guess it would be a very loud explosion, but the plane would eventually glide softly to the ground or
there would be
something.
Parachute down.
Or
yeah.
with a parachute. Like the whole plane has a parachute.
He did have to tell Eric how to do it, and I was like, man, if that situation happens, Eric's gonna be freaking
I'm the
out.
last person you want with the hand on the trigger in that situation. The last person. I'd start probably just like hitting like other buttons. I'd probably look at my phone and forget what happened. Or
Like, which one did he tell me to pull?
Yeah, I'm trying to look up a manual on this
Yeah.
plane to remember which one to pull.
You know, I'm the last person you want in control of that. But yeah, so he took us out. What was really cool is that we flew out of the regular Charleston airport. He doesn't have it out of like, sometimes if people have their own little planes, it's a small airport, regional airport or whatnot. No, we flew right out of Charleston International. So like we had to wait for like a JetBlue plane to take off. Go ahead.
And if there was anything that I've told you, and I will repeat yet again, that I do not forgive you for, Eric. It is at one point he said we were going to do a dead drop, whatever that is.
He said, would you like what was it?
Basically, it'd be like free
Do a
fall,
free
where
fall.
where you would feel weightlessness. For a few seconds.
That's what he said.
And Eric
Said no!
chose the coward's move, and he opted out.
There was cool, and there were moments of weightlessness, but when there were those moments, when I found out that we could actually full on do it, it gave me a little bit of anger.
I'll say two things.
I'll
say two things. One, I don't feel comfortable doing that. It makes me really sick.
Yeah.
Two, you're on that fucking plane because of me. So you know what, man? You didn't even have to be on the plane. You're getting a private airplane tour over Charleston, South Carolina.
You know?
So
we wanted the cherry on the top.
I don't believe the anger is necessary or worthy. I mean, it's not true. It is. I mean, it is. But I'm not going to worry about it. In a sense.
You shouldn't at all.
But no, it was crazy.
I would have wiped your puke off of me to get to do that.
Oh, well, good for you.
I don't think he wanted to puke to do it.
No, it was wild, man. Even for me, like, honestly, I am worried because I get motion sickness easy. And I have been on a little plane once else in my life, but you never know to me. And it was funny because like he was very nice enough to take us out to a meal afterwards. Yeah. And he was offering originally like before or after. I was like, absolutely after. I don't need a full meal when I'm about to go in because I don't know what these things are going to. And in the end, it was
wings
fine
too. Like I want to be barfing up wings on this plane.
Right. No, and honestly, in the end, I was never. Now I would have been if we had done the free fall, but I was never close in the actual plane ride to feeling sick at all.
My stomach definitely jumped a couple of times. Felt a little uneasy. When
Did it really?
Were like going, when we were getting some turbulence.
Yeah, there was a little turbulence at one point. But yeah, it was really dope, man. For real, I did get to fly the plane for a little bit. It was funny. It was just like. It wasn't one of these old school things you see with some big like little wheel. I mean, it was literally just a joystick. Like I was playing a video game.
Yeah, he said actually that children are really good at flying the plane because they're good at like video games.
Yeah.
Because it's like small increments of movement or whatever.
Right. And the talk with Ryan is really what led to us saying we had a lot of good talks about possibly doing this, what's now going to become Road Life episode and stuff like that. Yeah. And it was funny. It was just a weird week where it led to like this amazing experience happening, some good comedy, some good ideas we thought going forward with the podcast. Then unfortunately Tyler's dad's situation. And what a weird situation. Because then the next day, normally we don't go on a day to day, but this was such a bizarre week to me. Like you find out that day we do the karaoke. It's that instant kind of like, yes, relief, like you said, a distraction.
Yep.
But then the next day life really does come back to it. And believe it or not, as much as I like to wish drinking doesn't just solve problems. It can help it for an evening.
I mean, we didn't do jack shit on Thursday.
That's my point. That's what I was saying. Like the life just came crashing back.
Yep.
We were all hungover enough that we literally didn't basically leave the apartment.
We tried some pizza. It did not go well.
I was going to bring this up. So we are all being pieces of shit. Tyler's now hungover and having to deal with the fact that he's going to be flying home. Like, I think that was the day that you... That was it Friday?
That night.
And by the way, I want to give Tyler a little credit here because I did have a Tinder date set up with this young lady, and I really wasn't sure that I should go. What's up?
No,
you're right. No, Thursday, your dad had taken a turn for the worse, and we knew it was going to be a real possibility that you were probably going to fly home. You were still going to talk to your mom and decide.
I found out.
Okay. So we were kind of right around the timeline. But so Thursday that I just wanted to bring that up because my point is like, I was really like, dude, I don't know how long you're going to be gone. I don't also know what's going on with your dad. Like, dude, I shouldn't like go out on Friday. And he's like, no, dude, you should do it. It's not going to change anything.
It won't be. And it's an experience you should have. Like, you should definitely be doing that on
Right.
this trip, and if you have an opportunity, take it.
So I give him credit for that. He's a a good wingman.
Okay.
if you will.
and I actually, and I don't know if like, I think we briefly kind of talked about this story. Tyler and I certainly did. I believe you and Tyler did, but I'm just thinking about this now, and I feel like this is worth mentioning. So you go out on your Tinder date, and I hung out with Tyler. Like we walked down, we got some food and stuff and everything. Just kind of like we were chilling at the house, kind of like,
the house,
or chilling at the timeshare.
Every place I will say this on the road like this that we've been doing. Every place we're at is the house.
Now our home.
Whether it's 2 nights or 4 nights. Yeah.
And so I'm like, you know what? Eric's on this date. The energy's kind of been bad and down today or whatever. And we've been going so hard all the time. I'm like, Tyler doesn't want to go out. I decide like, I'm going to go to bed early. I'm going to get a good night's rest. So I'm in my pajamas at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night. And then Eric shows back up. And Eric is like, hey, this girl actually, she gave me some jam and stuff, which was nice. And we're going to go walk around downtown. So I just came up here to bring this up real quick.
And we were like, oh, so she's with you.
So
okay.
like, oh, she's with you. Yeah, he's like, yeah, she didn't want to come up, but like, I just want to drop this stuff off, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
So then Eric leaves and Tyler goes, I'm gonna go spy on him and his date real quick.
Yeah.
And
well,
I
I'm
knew
gonna
that
check
was
out the situation.
I knew, by the way, when I
didn't
got
say
down
I'm
there.
gonna go spy on his
that's
date.
exactly what you said.
No, I said I'm gonna go check out the situation. Do you want to?
Well, either way, you
Yeah.
might as well have said
Yeah, he
that.
said,
No offense.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
spy on his date.
It's a very much a semantical on the wording that is
Yeah.
used because
That
that's
is
what you're
true.
saying.
Yeah, how
That is exactly
manipulative
what I was
your
gonna do.
language was.
Yes. Yes, I wanted to be as manipulative as it was. Right? I didn't
So-
leave room for error.
So then I go, oh, okay. I'm thinking like we're gonna look out a window or something.
That's what I was thinking too.
No, yeah. So I'm out. I'm in my pajamas, and I'm wearing socks. Like I don't even have shoes on.
He
And-
looks like he just popped out of bed.
Yeah. And so we're walking. There's no window. We can't really see. So we end up downstairs, and you kind of have to walk through a little courtyard to get over to where they
Yeah.
were.
And I
And
was gonna peek, but they came out at the same time I came out.
Well, okay. So here's my thing. I'm in my socks. I'm in my pajamas. I'm like, well, we're just gonna peek. And at this point, I'm so invested. Like I've already done all this work. So I want to see this girl Eric's dating. I want to see what's going on. So I follow out behind Tyler, literally prop open a trash can against the door to keep it open. And then Tyler goes to peek around the corner, and Eric and that girl are right there, and they see them. So that it's Tyler.
And I'm in normal clothes,
Yes.
full shoes, pants, normal. Just like I literally in my head, I was like, I'm just gonna use the excuse. I'm gonna go smoke.
Yep.
Like I'm headed to go smoke or whatever. If I like have to say anything.
And then you 100% had to say something because you were right there.
Yes, we walked into each other. I did not intend for that.
And I'm in my pajamas and socks outside in downtown Charleston.
In a nice area of Charleston. by the way.
Yes.
No, I
And-
said that too. Like, and busy. A lot of people.
Yeah, no,
I mean, it's a
this is
Friday
Friday night. This is Friday night. And so now we have to commit. And so we have to walk. We have to pretend like we're going to the parking garage, which now means we have to take a walk in downtown Charleston with me in my pajamas
Well,
and my
we did-
socks.
We did immediately. It's funny because I told them, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to the parking garage and smoke.
Right.
And then we turned
Oh, I
down this
know, I saw
alley
that.
and they were behind us. And we were like, man, they know. They know.
I mean, I didn't technically know. I mean, I don't know if that's what she would have thought or not.
Yeah.
I mean, to me,
I
on
would
my
have
end,
thought, I've been like, they just wanted to see.
yeah.
For sure.
Here's and this is what I said. Tyler was like, they know, they both knew exactly what happened. And I was like, maybe Eric, maybe. I'm like, that girl, I fully believe you've got so much going on. You're already on a date. You're
Maybe
overstimulated.
that's the
You're whatever.
case. New people,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah,
It's-
she might just be like, whatever.
yeah.
Right.
Maybe would have not put it. If Eric didn't put it together, I think that's even more evidence that probably she did it.
I mean, I kind of assumed you know what? I don't know. I don't know if I put it together. You guys bolted down there just to see or anything, but it did seem very odd. I remember it wasn't like I was
No,
like,
we definitely came to check it out. Check
Right.
out the situation, and then it turned into another situation
right.
that we wanted out of. We couldn't really get out of.
So I wanted to jump back real quick, by the way, just because I did discuss this pizza situation. So we were all just feeling like pieces of shit there. We didn't leave the place. I was really hungover. Like I just was one of those days. And so finally we're like, okay, guys, we talked about getting a pizza originally anyway. Like on Friday night, we thought we were going to be somewhere else. What if we do it? And we're all like, yes, we're hungover. This will be good. This will blah, blah, blah. We find a place and we understand that it's a, Saturday or this is a Thursday night. But we understand still you're in a big city. None of us are expecting 30 minutes or less or anything like that. But
an hour.
An hour, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
when you're only a few miles away. I mean, and it just ends up becoming an ordeal to the point where we're calling them and they're hanging up on us twice, just like as we're just asking, hey, is our food coming or or what? And like there was a confusion with the address, but you know what though? Not enough on our fault that it should have mattered. And it's like we had situations where we're literally calling them. It ended up being, what was it, an hour and 45 minutes?
2 hours and 45 minutes.
I forgot already how bad it was. Yeah. 2 hours and 45 minutes to get pizza.
And it'll lay this out too, because I was the person dealing with it in this situation. We waited an hour. We're like, oh shit, the pizza's not here. I gave her the right address originally. Then I called, waited on hold for like a half an hour. Like I was literally like, I was just reading a book and just letting it play. Finally get a hold of somebody. And she's like, oh, like, well, what is your address? Blah, blah, blah. And so I look up Blue Green on the map. And for some reason on Google Maps, the address is a couple of addresses down. So it's wrong. And so I read that and she goes, oh, well, we had a different address. Let me change that. And so I'm like, okay, like, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, when is our pizza going to get here? And she like was not helpful at all. She was like, I don't, well, our delivery guy's out right now. Once he comes back, he'll grab it. And then I guess it'll be there. And so
I guess
about 2 hours and 40 minutes though in the end.
No. So then I get back. I talked to Eric a couple of minutes later, and I'm like, wait. So to be clear, what is this address? Can you look? And so he looks on the official papers what the address is. I'm like, fuck, it was right the first time. So now I have to call back, and I'm sitting on. It was over 40 minutes. I'm sitting on hold. There's nothing I can do. I can't get a hold of these people or whatever. And like, I want to fix this. I end up walking down to the address that they had in the hopes of like, well, if the delivery guy shows up, I could just be like, hey, it's me, and whatever, blah, blah, blah. So finally get somebody on the phone again. And then I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, the first address was right the first time. That's the one that matters. And she's like, oh, well, our delivery guy already left with the pizza, so I don't know what you want me to do about it.
I don't know. Like, we ordered pizza. I mean, there should be. I get it. There was a mild confusion in that.
Yeah.
But that is not enough for the pizza to take this long. And it's not a weekend. It's not like it's a Super Bowl Sunday or something. No, it is a Thursday. I know it's downtown. Still, it's a Thursday evening, and
like
it took
2 miles away.
Right, 2 hours away.
Walked there in that time.
Yes. No, totally. and so at that point, I'm like, well, does he have a phone? Maybe you can call him.
Yeah.
And she goes, all right, like. And then she goes, just a second, and then comes back later, and she's like, okay, yeah, I told him. And it's just like, why could you just not tell him?
And then, like, hanging up on several of us, like Tyler once, just trying to ask questions, just hanging up.
Yep.
Not like even getting, like, frustrated at her, and just like, nope, I'll just hang up and see what happens.
Our food got there. It was cold.
It was cold. It was bad. It wasn't great.
We forgot to call. We were supposed to call and complain, because usually you can get some
free pizza.
Some free pizza or something. We forgot, because we just... with Tyler's thing of freaking having to go back because his dad almost dying or whatever. And then us driving 5 hours south to Orlando. I guess we forgot. But
well, and you guys were probably in the same situation too. I'd come back from a walk at like 6, and I'm like, I'm hungry now. Like, let's order this pizza.
It definitely prolonged my hangover. I swear only because I swear to God, like, it's like by happening. It's like I planned on food. I was ready to go to bed because I was so terribly feeling crappy.
Yeah.
Then like that food makes you feel better. You get some stuff in you, and like we kept waiting, thinking like, well, if I don't want to make up some fucking noodles and then have the pizza be right there. It's like
it didn't show up till almost 9.
Right, exactly, which we ordered around 6:30.
So if you happen to be near that Domino's in Charleston,
don't fucking go there.
Whip an egg at them. Whip an egg at their window.
Exactly. I want to end Charleston on a more higher note, even though it stunk that Tyler was leaving.
Yeah.
I thought you should share that as a story of you selling some art.
Well, I mean, honestly, also, Eric, there's another video on our page that you can check out. Eric going and doing a Charleston shower.
Oh yeah, the Charleston shower, the traditional Charleston shower.
Yeah,
that is on our page, and we did that. We went down to this like square. It was, I mean, is it? some kind of thing.
Just
there.
like a park on the waterfront.
They had a pier and stuff. And I went back there and played some music and it was funny. There was a little kid who gave me $1 because he like was seeing me play guitar and he's like, "You're playing guitar," and I was like, "Yep, yes I am." And he's like, "Oh man, like that's awesome, Mom, this guy's playing guitar," and like ran off, got $1 from his mom and put it in there. And then
Awesome.
I had my art displayed in my guitar case, and a woman walked by and went to look at something and then came back and was like, "Can I get one of your art pieces?" And straight up just bought one off of me and asked for our page and like where I sell my stuff. Stargazing Productions, check that out. And that was awesome. Honestly, I was kind of done after that too because I had to leave anyway because this was like an hour before I was supposed to leave for the
right,
plane.
literally like you're about to board a plane to fly home.
It was honestly too. We fucking saw that giant ass old tree.
Yeah.
We saw, like, an
400
insanely
years.
old- That was a busy day. Like that we had.
It
that
was,
last
considering
day
all
we
that
were
was
there.
going on in our life. I will say, just that's a great time to mention that. I didn't quite mention at the top of the show, but remember, a great way to support all of us is through Tyler does do the art that he posts on our page and his own page, and we do all these little videos. If you could share our videos, our content that we make, that helps a lot. Even if you can't have the ability to donate, which I'll get into in a second. Liking and subscribing to our Facebook and YouTube pages, or leaving reviews 5 stars, preferably on our iTunes or Spotify. Money wise, we did all save up for this, and we're not trying to ask for any money, but on a regular basis. But if you'd like to throw us out, help us out a little bit here and there, especially with gas prices and whatnot, even though you're all dealing with gas prices, Eric, ERIC, F as in Frank, ADIE, is a Cash App and the Venmo. And you can always text me 248-935-9241 or hit any of us up on social media if you want to try to help give us money. So there's that. That was like our last day there. Did you want to say something else? I thought that was, by the way, on my end, I think it's really underestimated. I think that I don't want to gloss over that and just be like, I'm on to the next thing. And Charleston's a very uppity town to me, and in a place where there's some very fine culture, to be honest with you. And for somebody to, within an hour, walk by and end up wanting to buy some of your art in that situation, I think
Within
was
30 minutes,
very,
we
very
were not
cool.
out there long.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Well, and to kind of, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it was weird too because I did New Orleans and like I got a little bit of money from playing my guitar. I literally have thought before because like I get decent responses about my art. I'm more proud of that than my guitar playing. I've only been doing that for like 6 months, and it is what it is. But I definitely thought in New Orleans somebody would buy my art, and that did not happen at all. And I got money from my guitar there, and in Charleston, people I thought no one was going to buy my art because it's kind of a high class place kind of thing. They just
but by the way, your art's really, really good shit. But it's a place where you might think they would have been like uppity to, and you weren't really in an area necessarily. It wasn't like
where you're selling it,
right?
Yeah, you think that they go to King Street and go buy some art,
right?
There,
you full on just went on a sidewalk. I mean, it was a nice area, beautiful little park area, but it's not like it was a traditional busking area necessarily or anything like that. So
and they bought it. It was pretty cool. Yeah, that's all.
So that was go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say too, if you want a little bit of connective tissue between, like I said, this one's gonna be a little bit weird because Eric and I did the week we spent without Tyler on our own episode last week, and that was when we went to the wrestling match and we did all of that. And to put this into context, so this day we wake up, we have to be out of this timeshare by 10 because all these blue green timeshares you gotta be out right away at 10 o'clock, and so. We have nothing to do until Tyler's flight at 7. Yeah. So we're going around.
5.
We dropped you off.
We thought you had to be. We thought 5 would be the earliest we could drop you off, not feeling bad about it. Yeah. In reality. So we're like, go ahead.
No. So we go. We drive out. We see the Angel Oak. We hang out downtown.
Angel Oak. Yeah. That's what it's called.
We're busy doing stuff all day. We drop Tyler off to the airport so he could take his flight, and then Eric and I drive to fucking Orlando.
I know you're right. It's so obnoxious.
Quite a day. That is quite a day because we did a lot before I left.
No, totally.
Now I should say we didn't drive all the way to Orlando, but we drove about 4 hours in the car. I mean, we drove a lot. And that was the destination we were aiming for. And it was weird dropping him off. For one, it was like a weird somber thing. It's not like, even if he was just going home saying, hey, my parents we're having a family reunion and I always go. It's not that. There was a real serious reason you were going. I think by the time you felt like you were leaving, there was some good news. Wasn't I right? Like there was starting to be some, it just felt like it was like there was a little better news. When I was
leaving, my mom had talked to a nurse that made them feel a little better about it. Not just being like,
but he's still in the hospital. And
he's in the hospital. They're still discussing a ventilator. They were still like having talks about putting him on it, which honestly was the biggest reason I wanted to go home, is because I wanted to make sure that I got to see him before he was induced into a coma on a ventilator.
And it was still definitely a moment where when we dropped him off, we had no idea if he was going to be coming back at all, and if we were going to end up getting a call within a week being like, my dad took a turn for the worse or whatever, and we were going to have to,
kind of drive home and take a month
off and refigure out exactly how to move forward.
Yep.
Thankfully, your dad was okay, though.
Yeah, he turned out all right. I mean, he's got a long road of recovery to go, but like he is out of the hospital and off of oxygen. So
yes,
if anybody cared, there you go.
And then the only thing we're going to mention from that week where he was gone, because we already kind of went over it a little bit in one of our episodes, but me and Scott did end up camping, and I use camping a little loosely. It's not. We got a cabin, but the cabin only has 2 little beds. It did have a microwave and a fridge and a heater, but it's not camp. It's not camping in the sense that we put tents out, but it's not camping in the sense of like, oh, we got one of these deluxe cabins with literally a full-on kitchen and
or
stuff.
A bathroom.
And it was cold.
No, very cold. It got down to below 30. At one point there was a tornado warning, which by the way, Scott has a joke that he mentions a few times, sometimes on Facebook and sometimes around us, that like, the idea of how he wishes he could sleep, these people that could worry about sleeping through like a fire or something and it's like, dude, he slept through a tornado warning where in our little cabin, there was 100% branches dropping on the ceiling. And it was like, boom, boom.
Yeah, okay. The thing is, what I always say is that like, I don't feel bad for people who die in house fires because I wish I could get that kind of sleep. Right. And the thing is, I did wake up.
Feel bad. What a horrific thing to say. I don't feel bad.
It's a great sleep. I
if you got good sleep during life, that means you deserve to die.
That's a fair trade-off. If I got good sleep for 33 years.
I think you need to find some medications if that's your mentality behind sleep.
I wake up probably maybe 10 times a night. I wake up constantly.
No,
so the idea,
for sure.
So I would be willing to trade. Okay, I die in a house fire at 33, but I got good sleep for 33 years. That would be reasonable to me.
Insane.
But I will say, I did wake up, and I was like, man, storming like a motherfucker out there. Oh man, good sleep. I did not know it was a tornado.
There wasn't a tornado. There was a warning, and it got just real shady for a little bit. Like it never got dark enough that I was thought about saying something. But I looked out the window, and the fucking trees were fucking around, man. So like I'd say like the camping was interesting in the sense that like, we had this. Yes, we were in a little cabin, but it was just us, and we had 2 days. And I remember at the first when we did it first, really thinking like, how are we gonna? Just 2 of us. We don't have the TV. Not that I need TV in a sense, but it's like. We don't. And the weather. That was the main thing. Like we couldn't really do like a bonfire.
How long were you there?
2 nights.
Okay. What did you do during the day?
Nothing.
Nothing.
We sat. We talked. We had some talks. We started getting ready to like get that sign that we made for you.
Oh, okay.
And stuff. And we did little videos. But like I was saying, I told him camping is going to be interesting when we all start to do it because you forget that with camping everything takes longer. Yeah. Like food, you got to full on get the grill going, and you do have to like clean everything right away. There's a lot more to it than just kind of it's right here.
There's a sink. I'm gonna keep it in.
Yeah,
exactly.
I have to
clean it later.
We had to learn a lot of different things. We figured out how to how to work the grill.
I knew how to use my grill, but I will say like I hadn't used it since Labor Day of 2021. Yeah. So like just things on this trip. I think we learned a few lessons that will help us when we start camping. But it just again, I said more like to me like a camping day can go by very fast. You know what I mean? Like, because you go on a little walk, you make breakfast, which it just takes more time. Then you can make a lunch and dinner, and those take longer if you're cooking them all on a grill. Yeah. And we had to work on it. We kind of had to work on your thing. And I think we took time, like we both read a little bit, just stuff like that.
Honestly, like I said to you guys before, it was very weird being home and seeing you guys do all this shit. And then having me, I had stuff I had to do, like go see my dad at the hospital and stuff, but it wasn't a lot. And then watching your videos, like, man, we do a lot. We do
Right.
a lot. Not that like
No, like
Eric
we went
said,
bowling.
not pat
even,
ourselves
right.
on the back, but like, man, we do a
Yeah.
lot.
Well,
Yeah.
even like when we were gone, for example, like the day we had to check it before we had to check in. We had to leave Blue Green at 10.
Yep.
We couldn't check in until 4, and it was rainy and cold. And so
Yeah.
it's like we went and bought the stuff to make the sign, got a little food, then we went bowling for 2 hours. But it's like when you look at that, like in a normal life, that'd be a good day.
That'd be like a good week.
Right.
I went bowling this week.
Right. No, you're right. And Friday we went bowling with the boys.
Yeah, like,
Or
man,
something,
I
yeah.
had a good week.
Right. So it was interesting. We like I said, we
I mean,
finally
when we broke down like what we did during that day, like got up, got our shit out, in Charleston or whatever, went and saw that tree, then went and saw, went downtown, did some busking, went shopping. We went to that shopping center, then dropped me off. Then you guys drove to Orlando in one day.
Yeah, no, totally. And so Eric and I, we went bowling for 2 hours, and we decided to make a bet that whoever won the most games, the other person had to empty the van out. And Eric and I had an extremely competitive bowling game that I eventually won, and then he had to empty out
No
the
reason
van.
to talk anymore.
Guy in the league lost. I hear.
No reason. Who at home has his own personalized Simpsons bowling ball and shoes. But no need to.
Lost to a noob that hung out with mentally challenged people and bowled
Yeah, because
sometimes.
that was the thing. That was the thing that Eric underestimated. Is I had a job for years where I took mentally challenged people onto the community. A lot of them love to bowl.
What are you saying? I mean, anyway, I'm gonna give you guys an option. You guys are gonna. We've gone 40 minutes. I have no problem if you guys want to talk about the Outer Banks. This basketball game that I've been keeping my eye on is way too close. I am gonna step away for the rest. You want to save the Outer Banks for next time, or do you guys rather get
and just save the Outer Banks for next time?
Okay.
Yeah.
This is kind of a lot. I think sometimes with people watching, I think honestly that would be my
Outer
action.
Banks or
Well, here's
what?
my opinion.
The
we just did.
Hitera.
Oh,
I would tell you this. Here's my
Harris.
opinion, and reason I would actually end it is because I think when you go on such a long subject, then you're almost going to feel like you've already put a lot into it. You're going to feel like you're going to squeeze.
Yeah.
Because the Outer Banks was pretty fucking cool too, even though we were only there 2 days. So that's going to be it, I guess, for this week's On the Road episode, partially because I need to watch this goddamn Michigan game, and partially because I think that would have been a good ending
if you
point
were
anyway.
wondering what he was doing the whole time, he's watching this Michigan game out
Right.
the side of it. He
Right.
wanted to sit there so he could watch it.
Right. So, yeah, if you're
If
looking
you're wondering
at...
what his violent gesture.
Right, I'm not just... Yeah, I'm not... Sorry, go ahead.
Do you want to know where his priorities are? Like, gotta end the podcast to watch the thing.
And this has turned out to be a really good game. So,
Yeah, fair enough.
but
And do they play these in Michigan when you're just at home?
what do you mean?
Do
I
they
mean,
play these games in Michigan when you're
well,
just
yeah,
at home?
technically once a year. So this was this. Now, I think it's actually the better way to do it anyway. I think it's like I said. I think that's a long time on one subject. This was this week's On the Road edition of the Two Hippies, One Drunk. We are going to Saturdays finally kick off. We haven't discussed the topic yet, but we're going to have our official Two Hippies, One Drunk road life episode that we're going to start diving into a little more of the more day-to-day activities of what this trip entails and things that we learn about each other or just things that happen that would not really make it to the On the Road episode. So that should be probably Saturday. Remember, I do my Two Hippies, One Drunk on Monday with Amy's. I think it's going to be Tuesday next week if Amy can, because we're going to be doing comedy Monday night. And then this always on Wednesday, or the Two Hippies, One Drunk on Wednesdays that we normally do. So that's it for this week. Like I said, like and subscribe if you can. If you haven't given us a 5-star rating, we'd appreciate that. Sharing our videos and whatnot always helps a lot. Tyler's art or Scott's tarot card readings are ways to maybe support us without with feeling like you get something back versus just the content. So thank you guys for joining us.
Thank
See you next
you.
week.